Yo, welcome back to TeamViza TV interview series, season 6, episode 5. I'll be your host tonight, the Visa Boy. Special guest in the building, representing Gonzalo Village. Let's give it a thumbs up. Now, this gentleman is no stranger to the camera. As you all know, we all watch this gentleman on TV growing up, like myself. So let's go to TeamViza TV, no other than Mr. Errol Fabien. So what's up?
Everything is up.
Everything is up.
Everything is up. Life is good. I'm south. More than that, I'm in the Guapo region. So I can't go on a show.
Welcome to TeamViza TV interview series. I'll be your host tonight.
Yeah, it's number 5 and 6. Yeah,
Episode 5, season 6. Now, Mr. Fabien.
In my family, I'm number 6 of 9 children.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead. I'll talk too much.
It's a many angles we can start this interview from. I want to take it back. Because a lot of our followers and viewers might not have the knowledge of Errol Fabien. Where did it all started for Errol Fabien?
Where what started?
Journey.
My life?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Gonzalez Village, Guapo.
Right.
I am the 6th child of 9 that my parents had. I'm not the first boy. I'm not the brightest boy. I'm just number 6. You know, Home Alone? Can you forget the boy? Yeah. I think that could have happened to me. I was just there. I was just there, mellow. Always knew from a little boy that village, I had to get out of there.
Okay.
I didn't have any contempt for the village, but my mother and father always talk about the whole world now. Right. I always have a sense of the whole world, and I always wanted to get out there. Oh, sorry to get big too, you know.
Okay.
Oh, sorry to grow.
Why though?
I don't know. I used to watch, one of the things is, I see big men smoking, and I always tell myself, wow, I had to do that. Right. You know? Plus, in them days, in my village, people were gardeners, working the oil, teachers, or drinkers. Okay. That's it. I can't remember adults doing anything else. Well, that shopkeeper, right. You know, but none of that wasn't the stars for me as far as I used to daydream a lot, you know. To just sit down underneath the Julie mango tree or the long mango tree, Guapo schoolyard, and daydream.
At what age was this?
Well, coming up, all long before common entrance and thing, all 5, 6, 7, 8. And when I was a little boy in Gonzaga, we didn't have lights yet, and I know when they come and wire my house. Oh. I'm an old fellow now, I'm 63. I just turned 63 Tuesday going here.
Is it good?
Yeah.
63.
63. How old than your mother?
Yes. You look good for your age though.
Oh, thank you, sir. I feel good for my age.
Schools at 10. That was in Guapo.
I went Guapo Government School. I went San Fernando Boys RC for 1 year, and then I went Naparima College for 5 years. The greatest learning institution outside of life in the whole world is Naparima College.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Them time in Naparima was playing ball and time?
Yeah, I play ball in Naparima. Okay. But in Naparima, I met some young men who were involved in the arts, and there's where my journey in Kaiso and MCing and acting and things started at Naparima College in the secondary school drama festival.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Was it carded for you to be like into entertainment from very young, or you just decide to this?
Well, entertainment was in me.
Okay. Oh, it find you.
Entertainment was in me, let me tell you. But my father thought he was a comedian. Okay. He was really a school principal, but he thought he was a comedian. So he'd always come home, here this one, and give you a joke. But when we had free period and naps, and a teacher walking to supervise and they asked, so what they want to do, them fella, everybody will say, let Fabien get jokes. Right. And so since in secondary school, I was standing in front of the class giving jokes. Yeah. So, and I sang with a little combo it had in school, and I did acting in school, but I was trying to find myself really. Number 6 and 9, like I was saying, in my mind, I did not really exist. I didn't have a place in the world. And at Naparima, when I found these guys in the performing arts, I found a place. So I really held on to that. And it was easy for me because I was a daydreamer already, you know.
Right.
So putting on the shoes of another person to play them on stage and thing was nice for me. It was an escape from real life, you know. It was just right up my alley.
Right up your
Yeah. So, yeah, if that answers your question.
Yes, it did answer my question. You was featured in this TV show back in Calabashali?
No, I was in Calabashali.
Calabashali. That missed you?
Yeah, well, you see, the thing is, I wasn't in that. I wanted to use the word clique, but not in a negative way, because I was still in South, in Deep South, when that was going on.
Okay.
I stayed in Gonzales till I was 17. But then when I moved to town, I wasn't in the circles yet, too, because I was drugging. So I was in a next kind of circle.
Okay.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of your speech that you give in UE seminars, certain things.
Mind your business.
Yeah, mind your business. I have to mind your business. You know? And something that you always speak on was dreaming. That stand out.
Yeah.
I want to go into Errol Fabien dream world when he was a kid coming up.
Wow. Let me tell you, that was such a dream world. Boy. No, you have to understand to the time, in that time, we didn't have TV, we didn't have telephone, there was nothing like internet, it didn't have none of them things. It was this world, this land of time forgot. Today, if you look at it, you see that the land of time forgot. So that's the world I was dreaming in, you know. So I used to dream really big dreams of traveling all over the world, and I have no image in my mind except when my parents bring home a viewfinder once. You don't know what a viewfinder? A viewfinder is a thing look like a binoculars.
Okay.
And it have big discs to put in it. And the disc on the edge have little negatives of pictures of places in the world. And when you press it, it just turn. And the next one just click and reach in the light. So you see it like on top mountains and all kind of thing. And oh boy, I used to live in that dream, that viewfinder. Whereas a viewfinder, we call it, what viewfinder? I think what a viewfinder we call it. Yes, viewfinder. What's his name? On your process.
What's up?
What's your name?
Marissa.
Marissa, right. So yeah, you used to press it and you used to turn, and so it had one, we had gotten 4 discs. One with war, so all kind of things. One with the wonders of the world, like mountain tops and valleys and things. And one with American cities like the Golden Gate Bridge of San Francisco. I used to stare at that bridge. You know, I drive over it already in my life now. But I used to stare at that bridge and like, wow, you know. So it was this place I used to get transported. When I daydream, I used to be transported out of Gonzales, out of Trinidad, and in this whole place that, you know.
Don't mind exploring.
Yeah. And I'm still like that, you know.
Okay.
I'm still a dreamer, I still, you know. But now I dream about a peaceful, beautiful Trinidad and Tobago. I dream about Trinidad and Tobago. I used to know. I used to, in the early 80s, I used to go to a place called Rolls Royce Discotheque on Abercrombie Street, number 101, Abercrombie Street. Jamal Talib used to run it. And after that finished, like 3 and 4 in the morning, women by themselves walking, going where they had to go, East Port of Spain, going to the taxi stand to go San Juan, you know, there was no thought that somebody would interfere with you. That thought never entered our heads.
Right.
You know, it was a place of love. Like if we get away and we screw off and we cough it out, tomorrow we good.
Right.
You know, and I know we'll never go back there, but I feel there's a beautiful place in our future that we could end up at. And I just dream about it. Yeah.
You know, I listened to you spoke about the same dreaming, you know, and then you branch off to speak about the opportunities that may come to you that you always have to be ready
for.
How important is it for like the young kids probably to acknowledge this?
Okay. It is, we're from all ages because opportunity comes at different times in our life. When TeamViza called me, that was opportunity knocking. You know, because every time I get a chance to interact with the public, that's an opportunity for me because a real awesome responsibility. I'm a comedian, but I don't take it as a joke. I take it as something serious, you know what I mean? I take it as something serious because in my life, tens of thousands, in fact I have to say hundreds of thousands of people sat and listened to me. So to take that opportunity and just talk shit, it had to be the worst thing, the most reprehensible thing I could do.
Right.
So I have to put something in there that could make you go, oh, something that you could think about going home, some kind of social code, and it can't just be a joke. Because even politicians don't get to talk to the amount of people I talk to in my lifetime. I stand up on stage with 10,000 people in front of me. Sometimes when the National Stadium full, before it was Leslie Crawford, and they give me to announce and things, there's 20-some thousand people listening to me. For the year, when I count up all the audiences I talk in front of in Trinidad, Tobago, Grenada, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Antigua, Barbuda, New York, London, Toronto, Miami, wherever I've been for the year and talk, I talk to hundreds of thousands of people. So I always see opportunity in different things. Like when the Venezuelans come here and people had a problem, I was seeing opportunity. I was telling myself, you know, suppose we tell these Venezuelan people and them, you could stay here, you know, and you could work, but you could only work in agriculture. Could you imagine how much food we are producing now? In 6 months, because short-term crop in 3 months, it don't turn over.
Right.
If we get 100,000 people working in agriculture in Trinidad and Tobago, it changed our whole paradigm in terms of feeding ourselves. So I just see opportunity a lot. And when opportunity come knocking on my door, I just grab it with my 2 hands and I go there and go and
And TeamViza look at this as opportunity for us.
Right.
Because I was wondering if it is, you would have responded.
What do you mean?
Yeah, because a lot of messages in the local celebrities, I have put in the DMs, and there's very few who will respond.
Well, you see, I'm not knocking anybody. I just know about me. I don't, that word, I don't see myself as a celebrity.
Okay.
I just see myself as a Trinidadian who owe my country something and trying to pay back my debt to this country. Yeah. I think the country owes me something too, eh?
Yes,
but I'm not concentrating on that.
Right.
I concentrate on what I could do, and I could do what I could do. I can't let nobody else do, you know? Yeah.
Kyle TV. I know you, CEO.
Yeah.
Still represented.
Yeah, well, I'm the chairman of the board, I'm the CEO, I'm the shareholder, as the cleaner, as the cameraman, as the editor, as the man.
I don't understand. I don't understand.
What is that?
No, break it up.
All right. So I own it.
Okay.
But it's my wife, my 2 sons, and 2 employees who are like full-time. I have some presenters who come in too and run shows in the night. So if the place had to clean, I clean it.
Right.
I don't have no 10 staff or 20 staff. I used to have 100 staff, but now it's a different time. So if the cable break, I solder it and fix it. If the camera, if the tripod sticking, I scrap it down and WD-40 and put it back together. And I just have to do what I have to do. You know what I mean? So, but I'm also the chairman of the board.
Okay.
I'm also the CEO. I'm also a presenter. You know, I'm the shareholder.
You
know.
is Kyle TV.
Well, but plenty people can say that.
Right.
My sons can say that. My wife can say that. The presenters. You know Gillian from Point?
I didn't know that.
She is very mobile and cantankerous. She's like the mayor of Point 40, no matter who's the mayor there. So she's a presenter. I have Jomo Williams, I have Eunice Peters, You know, we had different people who come in. I have a show on Tuesdays and Wednesdays called The Observer, Mikey K, you know.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people who come in and pull the end, you know. And a lot of them could say Guile is theirs and there is no problem. You know, that them is Guile. And they wouldn't be lying.
They wouldn't be lying.
They wouldn't be lying.
Something I hear him mention in performing, I believe. Right? We spoke about going to Canada, going to America, probably going to England. Everybody have the local channels.
Right.
Why it is we in Trinidad here fighting our own local.
Why?
Let's not talk. Why?
And when I go here,
Right.
how people look on the road, it's how they look on TV. You know, just if people that walk down the road in suit there and I see them on TV in suit.
Right.
If I watch people that walk down the road in India in the front kind of, when they look on TV, that's what they're wearing.
Right.
But in Trinidad, we're not on TV and polo and, you know, if we go and we teach you. You know, and if you don't dress so they say not professional.
Right.
But we just be in a way. And I have been on a journey to find what is Caribbean media or Caribbean TV. And if at the end of that journey is in suit and thing, fine, but I not jump into that. I want to go through, I want to find out, I want to see, I want to feel, I want to experience, you know. And then we decide what is what and that kind of thing, you know.
Right.
Until then, I'm just going to be me.
Right.
Yeah.
And that same episode, when you're speaking about that, it seemed to be very emotional at a point in time.
I'm an emotional man. Very
Nothing wrong with
emotional
that.
man. No, I embrace it.
Right.
You know. My wife is laughing. I cry every day. Every day.
Why?
Well, for different things, I cry for joy. I cry for pain. I cry for memories. I miss my mother. My mother died when I was 14. I still miss her, you know. If somebody come now and they have $1 million here and a chance to talk to my mother for 5 minutes or 1 minute, I ain't getting that million. I want to talk to my mother. My mother was this really amazing woman.
That's
You know?
Gloria.
Yeah, Gloria, you know the name Gloria Fabien, boy, you know. And she used to wake us up and carry us outside and look in the stars and show us the constellation and look out for a comet that was supposed to pass, you know. She, boy, let me tell you, when I was about 8, I think, can't remember what age I was, she called me and tell me, you know, you have to learn responsibility, son. About $20 a month, that was big money, big money.
$20.
$20, boy, you can't imagine how much $20 could have been. Let me tell you, I used to go around Castle with $1 and come out to change, you know. Yeah, a portion of fries was 35 cents, a piece of chicken was about that, or maybe 15 cents, like 85 cents, a drink was 15 cents, I have about 5 cents coming out.
Wow.
Yeah, Royal Castle. But she gave me this money and sent me by a man named Ensign. So I walk to work from by where to go and buy 2 goats. So that I have a reason to wake up in the morning and go and do something and take care of a living thing. Yeah, you see. And see about a living thing. And in the evening I have to go and bring them in, you know. So, you know, my mother planned all these things in me, you know. She even, my mother teach me to thief.
To thief?
Yeah. Well, she sent me to buy 2 of something. And I thief a cent. And when I reach home, she said, thief. I said, she said, if you buy 2, it's 2 same thing.
Right.
You have to take 2 cents. You can't take 1. You understand? Because something costs a half cent.
Right.
So if you take 1 cent, you will get catch. I give me licks.
At the time it was proper licks.
I give me licks. But I learned, you know, that you know you have to have balance and thing, you know. But yeah, she didn't condone thieving, but I just saying it so because you know. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to go into this. Be a little sensitive. I don't think we should speak on
We
it.
can talk about anything.
Okay.
We're on Visa TV, yeah?
TeamViza TV.
TeamViza TV. So we have the whole bad, right? We can talk anything.
I want to speak about the drug addiction. Right? But a lot of young individuals just watch TeamViza TV.
Right.
Right? What was the urge to pick up this first cigarette, if it was cigarette?
Well, I tell you, I used to watch big men smoke and tell myself, I have to do that. It looks so amazing. And I started smoke with gazette paper.
Gazette paper?
Yeah, but we didn't have, long
Newspaper?
time. Yeah, long time didn't have rubbish truck, Where I was living, no rubbish truck used to pass. And plenty places down like on this side and thing, everybody had a heap in the backyard. And you fill your bucket in your kitchen, you empty it in your heap. And Saturday you rake it up and you light it. And you see what you think for yourself. It had no rubbish truck passing, it had no postman coming. You had to go in the post office and find out you have any mail for Fabien. Yeah? So when my father would rake up the heap and go on and light it, I used to go back with paper roll up and put it in the fire to smoke. Gazette paper. Right? Because I always had this urge to smoke. I never see my father drunk, I never see my father smoke, I never see my mother drunk, I never see my mother smoke. I wasn't in that environment growing up. The environment I was in an academic environment. My father is a school principal, my brothers and sisters, they were bright, One of my sisters went Vestini. In the first class that went into Vestini, my sister was one of them. Yeah. So anyway, I always wanted to smoke, so I started that, I graduated, had a teacher used to flick his cigarettes out the window. I would wait and go for it sometime.
I don't want to laugh, but you're not expressing yourself.
And I smoked that until and that time it was a cigarette named Anchor Special. It had no cigarette butt. Oh. So then sometime I'd out it and wait until the next one come and join them. Right. And then join it and I run in fine the bush. Because if I get catch, that's it. I don't die dead. And I would light it and smoke it. But when I smoke it, I wasn't me. I used to be like in this movie. It was in a suit with a hat and it was a big man thing. It was like one of my transportation out of the village then. Right. It was when I tried to smoke. And then ganja come in. And everybody was doing ganja. Ganja suddenly get popular in the 70s, in the late 70s, early 80s, ganja, like it just suddenly get popular. I didn't know about it before, but everybody was marijuana. And I had to say, for me, right, that's the worst drug I ever used.
Marijuana?
Yeah, that's the worst drug I ever used, But that was the thing at the time, called marijuana robbed me of my ambition. And when I look around at real chronic marijuana smokers, they're in the same place. I don't see that kind of, progression. It's like the ones who are on the block smoking ganja all day. They're like 30 years, 20 years, they're the same fellas, And I was one. I end up there in Belmont on the corner smoking all day. Marijuana, cocaine, as bad as it caused my life to become, is the thing that got me out. Because when I started doing cocaine, I used to do black joint. And I had such tolerance. I used to have to smoke plenty. And them days I riding motorbike and thing, and I just smoke and jump on my bike and go my way. And I used to smoke by myself. So it was very insane. And it was insane, when there are men there smoking them and they passing it and things at the front right. Yeah. When you smoking the whole thing, you'll be passing to yourself, You understand? It was really insane and I used to have to hide. So I started to lock myself in all kind of places to hide, to smoke. So work got in my way. Work got in the way of my smoking. And when I get to leave the job, my job that I used to get paid from, school got in the way. When I was going to Napoli, that got in the way of my smoking. So when I failed my exam, and my father wanted me to repeat, and the football team wanted me to repeat, I didn't want to repeat because it's a problem. You can't go training smoking. You can't stay home smoking. I wanted to leave that village and go.
You needed that smoker.
Yeah, I needed that. And that's the thing about the disease of addiction. We live to use and use to live. Our whole life and thinking is centered in drugs in one way or another. getting, using, and finding ways and means to get more. That was my life. It was all about getting high. It was all about the drugs, you know. And so I was doing ganja all the time. I was doing ganja, them fellas on the block, and them start piping. So I go knocking the window. Hey, what's going on? They say, Fabien, it's not for you. So what? I'm going to get for myself, you know. Or people always looking out for me, you know. These are men who are on the block drugging, telling me this is not for you because this could bring you down, and we don't want we don't want nothing to bring you down. You know, they always have that kind of, I don't know, yeah, that kind of vibe. And everywhere, like I was working in our Kong's department, that's where that was getting anywhere I'm smoking. But then people there used to tell me, you know, here is not for you. You belong on stage and on TV. You know, that what they used to tell me. You know, and of course, well, I ended up leaving through drugging, and eventually ended up just doing stage and TV for like all my life.
While there was drugging still, was it?
Yeah, it was horrible. But what I used to do was horrible. I used to MC show, I was bad, I wasn't good at all. I used to do comedy, I don't know, people used to laugh at that. It was horrible, horrible. It was when I was drugging. You know? And I get so bad, I go on stage to do things, and the way I do it now, I'm like, we actually do that so. I was terrible. I was really, really bad. But some people might feel I'm still really, really bad. But yes, but drugs. So when I get into the cocaine, then it get real bad, right? Because I start selling things from the house and thieving out my wife's money. Because now she working and I home because the work was in the way I'm drugging. So I home drugging and the day come and thing and selling things to get drug. I used to, you know, that other place named Dollar Rescue?
Yeah.
People thought I was staff. I was there every day. People thought I was staff. I was there every day looking to sell something. You know, cleaning out, oh boy. Yeah. It was a really, really difficult time, but I didn't see it because I was in it. You see, addiction does come at a whole lot of behaviors, horrible behaviors. And when we have an addict in our family, we stop seeing the person and only see the behavior. And because we're dealing with the behavior, we're driving the person further and further into it. But if you deal with the person now, it is not an easy thing. That person really wants love. Addiction strives best in an environment where the person feels nobody do love me. So I have no reason to stop. The disease loves that. It's a very cunning and baffling disease. Because we'll be looking like real crap at what yourself in the mirror and say, looking good. Face thinking good. Looking good. The pants is so maggy pants. A bed couldn't keep up my pants. We had to put shoelace and tie them to loop and tie these to loop to keep it up. And I was looking good. You know, I want the young people listening to this who using drugs to know the only way to become an abuser is to be a user. Only a user becomes an abuser. Nobody else. Nobody else can become a drug abuser except a drug user. It don't work. You can't just become an abuser. You have to be a user first. And the younger you are, especially people under 18, leave drugs alone. You see that why they put an age limit?
Right.
Yeah? Because the brain not developed in a way to cope with. You see what these things are mood and mind altering substances. Alcohol is one, cigarette, all these things are mood and have a lot of over-the-counter drugs to that are mood and mind altering substances. And they change the chemical composition of our brain. We are chemical beings, eh? All of our emotions are chemical things that happen in our head. And when them things happen, we just feel how we feel. We have no control over it. You can't stop getting vexed or stop feeling happy or stop. When something happens and that chemical flow, you will feel so. That's just how it is. But what these substances do is trigger that pleasure center falsely. So not really something we see, like you see a beautiful woman, 3 beautiful women over there feeling nice. You see, I feel nice. So that's how it is, you know. And I get that, and I hear them laugh and thing, and I feel even more excited, you know. And so it's chemical releasing in my head. Or if somebody close to me dies, and I feel sad, it's a next chemical releasing in the next place in my head, and that's how I feel. And so I meet Miss Right. Feel nice, a different chemical release in the head, and that's how we made up physiologically. That's what we are. And mood and mind altering substances trick our brain. It's do something that's not natural. It makes something that happens naturally happen unnaturally. And so we get the feeling that's why addiction is such, there's no cure for it. Because it would mean we have to stop the chemical in our brain from happening. And addiction is not about drugs. The clinical definition of addiction is repeating an action or an experience in spite of negative consequences. They mention no drugs there. So people say, well, I have a positive addiction. There's no such thing. Because addiction is only addiction if there are negative consequences. See, when you're repeating something in spite of negative consequences, that is an addiction. So if you're repeating something but there are no negative consequences, there are good consequences, because everything has a consequence, then it's not an addiction. Yeah? So so you could be addicted to church, you know. So for example, let's say your wife, she's go to church, and she's go early to help out and clean, and she's cook for the pastor, go and clean the pastor house and thing, and all that is good. But if you home and you don't have food, and your home ain't clean because she out there doing that, and you tell her about it and she ain't stopping, and you tell her and she's still doing, and you tell her and she's still going, that's an addiction. Because she's feeling something there that makes her feel good about doing that. Right. So she keeps going back to it. She's repeating an action and an experience in spite of negative consequences. That is an addiction.
This is not addiction. Why so this is asking for them right? When you was start off smoking with the gas and people and stuff, right? Your mom and dad never realized well they're smoking gas and people.
No.
Oh, you still hide this?
Of course, it's hiding.
Remember he said his father used to heat it up to the back of the house.
Right.
And he go in there after. So nobody goes in.
And gone, like the him and gone. And when let me tell you, you have to go to a long gas it.
Oh.
When you light it, you have to run and go. Right? But then you have to shake off the flame.
Fire.
Because you can't smoke flame. So when I pull now you have to know physics. I'm telling you. Because, you know, when you go to put your tire, pressure in your tire, you have to set the PSI.
Right.
The pumps per square inch. Because you can't put too much pressure. Right. You can't put too little bit. Same thing when you're smoking gas and paper. If you pull too hard, listen to me. If you pull too hard, the oxygen just reignite the cinders and flames just come down in your hotel. I get burned plenty times. I tell mommy the tea was hot. You see? So I do it. A negative consequence, and I do it again. And I get burned and I do it again. And I get burned and I do it. So from young. And this is what parents need to identify. And the children are not bad. And that's a mental condition, you know. Addiction is a mental illness that there's no drug to fix. But you have to treat the person differently and let the person understand what they're living with so that they behave differently. So that if you keep doing something and getting in trouble, just check yourself. You know? Sometimes, up to today now, with like Facebook, right? Who don't like likes? And who don't like shares? Right now, we on this platform. What you want?
Like shares.
Likes and shares? You want to go viral? You know what I mean? Views. So when I post, right, and I go and I say, oh, that was good, but then I start to read the comments, hey! And I'm going back next week, and the next week, and next week. I check myself, then realize my posting stuff. Right. Because I start to trigger this thing in my head. I go into it, and I know I live with this illness. So I know I have to measure myself in everything I do. I have to fight and measure myself because it's easy for me. Because I live with addiction. There's no cure, you know. Once you're an addict, you're always an addict. That's it. You know? So I have to be careful. You know, because who don't like for them that chemical does make you feel nice to trigger everybody like that. But if I keep doing that, you see that disease waiting for me. So the disease will say, hey, there you go again. There you go again.
Don't even show that.
Yeah, the coke there, you want a drink?
Yeah. As I mentioned,
stop that here.
As I mentioned, I told Mama Visa, say, Errol Fabien is carded on the 9th of December. No alcohol.
Because I watch it.
Well, on the table.
Right, I watch your thing and I see a table that be full of booze. My wife wants to know how you going to deal with that, Errol. I said, well, I would tell them to move it if they will, you know. Yeah. When I come here, no booze on the table. TeamViza. Love listen.
There's a respect also, you know what I mean?
I appreciate that. I really appreciate it.
I said no alcohol at all. They have a thing, but not on
the set.
Not on the set.
Yeah.
Table. So when did you realize that this addiction had become a problem?
Boy, after I stopped using drugs, because let me tell you, it's my wife, my then wife, who pushed and prod to get me into a treatment center. And in the treatment center, there's screening, because rehab is for people who need it, not people who want it. In fact, sorry, it's the wrong way around. Rehab is for people who want it, not people who need it. And I needed it, but I didn't want it.
Right.
I used to, I'm dreaming in them days, I used to see myself old with grey beard, with a pipe smoking ganja still. That's why I used to dream about still, you know. So when them come now to try and get me off of this thing, you know, that was I didn't want to. And when they screened, they realized that I didn't want to. And the panel was going to decide, no, we're not taking it. But it had one fella on the panel named Robert Ward, a man who was himself in recovery. And he said to the panel, I know that young man. Let's give him a chance, because if we could touch his life, he will touch other lives. And that's how I get into rehab. Well, I wasted my time in rehab. I concentrated on everything else except what I went there for. But boy, if I tell you, my eldest daughter, Coco, right? When they were carrying me in the center, 29th day of February 1988, she asked him, what is wrong? Where we going with daddy? But she had to stop seeing me because I should stay away from them, because I didn't want to put them in harm's way, which I did once. So I should stay away from them as much as possible. And I tell her we're going, daddy's sick in his head and he's going for help. And the 27th day of May 88, when I graduated, she asked me if my head better now. That was the moment. That was the moment, because I told her yes. And for the first time in my life, until then, I wanted what I spoke to be the truth. The truth was never important to me before. As an active addict, lies was the order of the day. You lie for everything. To set you up, to get you back so I could take this when they turn him. Lies. And I wanted that to be the truth. So when I leave the rehab is when I kind of came to a place where I wanted to be good. I used to hide from them and thing, and now I wanted them to say, that's my daddy there. So that's when my journey in recovery really started. And I was going good, but addiction is a cunning and baffling disease, and relapse is real. And I had a relapse, not with drugs, with women. Because the same disease, it's the same illness. Food, porn, all them things, gambling is the same illness. That we going and running down this feeling and lying and cheating and hiding to do it. And it have negative consequences and we're going hard. Yeah? So, well, when I leave the rehab, a man named Christopher Head approached me to be the presenter of a TV show called Gael. Gael was a half-hour show on TTT on Thursday night, 8 o'clock. And the 3 people who used to present it was going away to study. Tony Hall, Errol Sitahal, and Neil Maharaj. And all of them say, yeah, let Errol be the presenter. And they couldn't find me because I was in rehab. So as I reach out, I get this job offer. So I became a TV presenter when I come out. And I could talk. I wasn't too bad looking then, you know, the pan was, you know. And I had lyrics and I could make people laugh. And it was easy to get girls. And I thought I had to get all. Just so I used to think if we were openly rum, we had to drink all. Or if we smoking, we had to smoke all. I thought I had to get all the girls. And the same woman who was at my side and stuck with me through all and take all that humiliation and see about them 3 girl children at a time, see about them children by herself when I in rehab and running up the mountain, taking taxi to come up there to bring things for me. And I was a very miserable fella, you know. Yeah. I come home and they tell her somebody pregnant for me. And that was devastating for her. And when we have negative consequences, we stop. No, we don't stop, we just keep going. So it add more and add more and add more. Till she was so unhappy, we decided to separate.
How did you find the courage to even tell her?
Well, the thing that teach us, one of the things I hold on to from rehab is to talk the truth. Yeah, the lies had to pack aside. Now, I would tell you, they tell us to ourselves be truthful, to ourselves be honest. Even if I lie to you, I must never lie to myself. You know, that's serious, you know.
Well, that's
I give a real halfway.
That's volumes.
No, but seriously, I must know my truth. I mustn't fool myself. Even if I'm trying to fool you, because lies has become the truth, you know. If you believe in your lie, it has become your truth, you know. And they say to your own self, be true. So, I love that woman to this day. That's the woman I love. And
She will be watching.
yeah, I'm a new wife watching too. But I love my wife, I love my wife.
Really?
I really love my wife. But that woman, what we've been through, and the times we had, you know, I really love her. We can't live together. If I tell you, when we separate, she went to New York, and we get divorced. 10 years later, go to New York and remarry her. Same woman. I get married to her twice. You know? And she when we separated, I was very young in recovery. So I'm saying, patting myself on the back, she didn't get to see my growth. She don't know the person I became, right? And so when we got remarried, the deal was she'd come home in 12 months. So when she finished a course she was doing, and 5 years later she still didn't come back here. And I really feel she is afraid of living, of going through what she went through with me the first time again.
Yeah.
And she built her own life up there, you know. She have her own space, you know, that's her life. Come back to Trinidad to be Errol's wife. I don't know, maybe I don't think she wanted that, so we get divorced again. So I get married 3 times, but only to 2 women.
No, it's good reasoning, but I like how you deliver it, man.
Well, you know, it's just my truth.
Yeah, it's
just my truth. You
have
know?
been arrested through this whole journey?
No, boy.
Addiction?
Never.
Never.
Police hold me more than once, but never get arrested. On Christmas Eve, right? About a place named Perseverance up in Maraval, it had a spring there. And I did get money, wherever it was for the house or wherever it was, and I go and buy coke and ganja, and I go and roll out my thing, and I up there by the spring. I had my little half-dead music playing in this van I had at the time, and smoking. I hear when I look outside, gun and thing. Like the people, because there's a posh area, and people call the police and thing. See what you look at. It's Christmas Eve, I look up there, they take all my drugs and mash it up and thing. And they asked me for my license and insurance. I had no license. no insurance, and no inspection. You just live on the next side of the law in them days, you know. And the time I leave that day, go and get a record, wherever it is. And I went and get a next smoker to come to tow it out. By the time we reach the road, on hook and he gone so and I gone so. And that night, I kid you not, I'm driving home, I'm driving through Santa Cruz to go, because I live in Sao. And I'm screaming out my own name. Calling Errol, like I tried to find myself or something. I don't know what it was, but I was screaming out my own name. Trying, like I knew I was not there, that was not me, you know? And, well, yeah. I forget what you asked me, I just talking.
It also reached a stage, I believe, right, where you were homeless also.
Yeah, well, you see, wow, man. Boy, I was home with my 3 daughters, and I wanted to smoke and take the good earnings and leave them locked up in the house by themselves. But they were 3, 2 and 1 years old.
3, 2 and 1.
I went for a long time. When I come back, I was screaming and bothered. And I realized that I put them in harm's way. Because they was hungry, they was dirty, they was frightened. And through that, I started staying away from them as much as I can. And when I was spending more time, I was getting the drugs, which was on the streets. So I never get put out on it. Now I used to still go home sometimes, you know. I would go home, but yeah, life.
I say we can speak about this is getting emotional. You know, I don't get emotional.
So Fabien, it's okay from giving a hug?
Absolutely. I love hugs here. I don't talk. Yeah, just right. Yeah. They teach me to hug. The Narcotics Anonymous.
Okay.
Yeah, they say hugs, not drugs, but you to get vexed with them. In the earlys, right, before I went to rehab, I used to go and then my wife used to come home and get me and carry me rehab, carry me any meeting 2.5 hours long. And in the end of the meeting, boy, everybody used to hug up everybody. What is wrong with these people? They hug it tight, they squeeze in there, they hug it. And in the end of the meeting, they used to go around and give clean time. So they used to say, hi, I'm Betty, I'm 4 days clean, I'm Brian, I'm 4 months clean, I'm Joy, I'm 2 years clean. I was Errol. 3 hours clean for months. 3 hours for months. 3 hours. I couldn't do better than that. And I wanted to say days or months, I wanted to, but I couldn't. Because it was 3 hours, because time my wife reached home to get me. When I stopped smoke just before she reached, and we go to the meeting and the meeting finished, and then we go 3 hours clean. I didn't want to go to their meetings because of that, but something used to make me go to the meeting. And they used to hug you up and say, keep coming, it works if you work it, so work it, it's worth it. And I used to be like, oh my God, what is wrong with these people? You know? And sometimes I have thing in my pocket, you know. When I go to the meeting, yeah, and they used to say at the start of the meeting, if you have anything, go and throw it away and come back because we don't want that inside here. And I used to be saying, no.
Nothing in your pocket.
Yeah, boy. But I've come a long way from that, you know. Because I am 35 years, 9 months and counting. One day at a time. One day at a time. 35 years, 9 months and some days I'm counting. One day at a time.
This is TeamViza TV.
Yeah.
I keep mentioning a lot of youngsters that look at this project. What message would you send to the young ones?
That the most powerful lesson I ever learned in life is what I just said, one day at a time. Because sometimes we trap ourselves, like I want to be a pilot. and I feel I have to be a pilot next week. One day at a time. Take time. Work towards something every day. You see, like when I was drugging, right? A lot of people, different things in their life that not good for them, we find a way to do it every day. Every day, we find a way. We hide, we lie, we do all kind of thing. We find a way to do it every day. But when we're on a good foot, we just drop that skill. And that's the most important skill we have. I should find a way to get drugs every day.
Every day.
Every day. I could wake up broken to break open. And by lunchtime I high. I find a way. But in recovery, if I had to go 4 miles away for a job interview and I do a passage, I don't go. But if I wanted to go for a smoke and I walk and go. So that thing we have as all human beings is built into us, we're born with that, to persevere no matter what. That is what we need to tap into as human beings and set our course for something that will build us and find a way to do it every day. Because when it's something to destroy us and we set a course, we find a way to do that every day. And young people living in our world today, right? If they want to know what's the highest mountain in the world, they could do this. They could say, what is the highest mountain in the world?
Mount Everest. According to National Ocean Service, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration.
When I was a youth and I want to know what's the highest mountain in the world, I had to find a library and go inside the library and find the encyclopedia and try to figure out if I'm looking at H for highest or M for mountain. And get all them books out and come and look. Right? So the speed at which I was gathering knowledge in life was like reversing compared to the speed you young people could get knowledge in. So you have no excuse to be dumbing down yourself. When you're doing drugs, you're dumbing down yourself, You could be doing something to uplift and enlighten yourself. So don't dumb down yourself. Don't, because your crew and your clip on shit, you don't have to be on shit. You could stand up as an individual and say, nah, I ain't doing that. And eventually the crowd will be following you instead of you following the crowd. You see how you doing this thing here? You don't have to be doing this. You could be on the block. How much men your age in a rum shop right now? Or doing some stupidness right now? That not uplifting themselves, not uplifting the community, not uplifting the family. You choose to do this. I sure it have youths who decide to do some podcast or something since they see you doing yours.
Yeah.
Yeah? And that is what young people need to grab hold of. You have so much at your fingertips. But we don't give ourselves permission to evolve. We feel if nobody in my family never go to university, I can't go. Of course you could go. You can't go. If nobody in my village ever invent something, no, you could do it. There's nothing stopping anybody from becoming anything they want to become but themselves. It's only me that stop me from doing anything, I can't blame nobody for anything in my life. I am responsible. You see, before we was 18, where our parents telling us what to do and where to go, we are victims of our circumstance. But when we cross 18, we are victims of our decisions. So you can't blame nobody. It's my decisions have me where I am. So everybody could check themselves. All adults could check themselves. If you're over 18, check yourself, because the thing we spend the most time doing is what we get good at. So check yourself. If you want to be wherever you want to be and you're not spending your most time in your day doing that, you're only talking. You're only talking. If you as a youth and you want to be a hairdresser, which is like an amazing profession, right? And you're not doing somebody here every day. The little girl next door, the corn, When the corn start to get here on the tree, you're supposed to be plaiting that. Every time you see here, or you're looking like here, you're supposed to be on that. If you want to be a hairdresser, and you're only talking. You're only talking. You have no time for
talking.
You understand? You have to be on something. And it's so easy to be on something. And people feel, like I say, hairdressing. When you go to the movies, everybody in the movie sat in the hairdresser's chair before they went on the set. Everybody have on clothes in the wardrobe that the wardrobe people make for them for that set. Everybody. So that seamstress, designer, hairdresser, everybody in every movie sat in the makeup chair. You must put on makeup. Understand? And this is profession in Trinidad. People just feel they don't want the children to be a hairdresser or a seamstress, makeup. And making millions of dollars. Imagine a movie like Lord of the Rings. Makeup people eat our food on that. Yeah. Hairdressers eat our food. Costume people eat our food on that. Got a big cast and thing, you understand? So whatever it is you're doing, the idea is to be the best you can be at it. And that's where the magic is. It takes 20 years to become an overnight success. 20 years. You have to do 10,000 hours of something to be good at it. So get going, guys. Get going.
Get going. What's newly 2023? What we have cooking?
Well, boy, I am ready now to come off stage and come off television. I am ready now to mentor young people who want to be artists. I'm ready to move back to the southwestern peninsula, looking to come back down here and live. I think I run my leg of the relay in town. I've made my contribution. I feel satisfied that I have. I have a lot of energy, but the local TV, I've been swimming against the tide and my arms tired, right? So I'm looking to find somebody who wants to manage and run that. I'll shake their hand and give them a hug and tell them, yeah, I'm ready to live a more relaxed life, you know? I grew up seeing about plants and animals, I love dogs, so I have some big breed dogs, so I don't mind setting up a little kennel down on the side, put down some long-term thing in the ground, you know, because I'm telling myself I'm going to be around for a little while.
The correct thing.
Yeah, it's like breadfruit, zabuka, coconut. Ganja is short term, you don't know that? That's short term, I don't know long term. Yeah, citrus and thing, you know?
Yeah.
Because a time is coming. A time is coming in this world where it will be crucial for us to be able to feed ourselves. And I don't want to be caught with my pants around my ankles. I want to be ready.
I was traveling in a taxi going to Captiville already, and the driver looked at me and the backseat, only passenger in the car, driving and in the rearview mirror. He said, young boy, you saw the plant already? So I said, what are you talking about? First thing in my mind, my one eye. I was going, I see the chain and thing. I said, what are you talking about? He said, the earth, you ain't go back to the earth yet.
That's the time.
Said, nah. He said, no, it's the time.
That's it.
He said, because it come in that time where if you ain't start now, your pants will be by ankle when it comes.
You get caught with your pants down.
So it's very important.
Yeah. And everybody wouldn't. So those who will must make sure that there's enough for others. It's not about yourself. This is not about ourselves. This is about our people. This is about our people. You see this land, Trinidad? And I'm a Trinidad and Tobago, but I talk about this island of Trinidad. You know, it's a very sacred and special place. All these people who came here were brought here. And the people who used to live here before, you know, we find ourselves in a very blessed place. Naprima Hill, San Fernando Hill, was a very sacred hill. first people from all over the region used to come down in the canoes and come up on Grashima Beach in Moruga and walk to San Fernando Hill every year to go and do the prayers and the whatever. One of the places they used to walk, they call it Indian Walk now up to this day, because that's where they used to walk and go, to go up. And the Warao people, we call them Warahun. Them was one of the nations, the first people who live here. They have a creation story. You know, Catholic have a creation story. Everybody have a creation story, how the world was created. And in their creation story, it had 3 hills. And that's one of the hills, Naparima Hill. The next one still on the mainland in Venezuela. And the next one they say below the sea. Right? But in their creation story, that's a very sacred hill. Even the first people who live up Arima side and thing, for them, the northern range is a very sacred place. And if you really check out Trinidad over the years, you can't say that is not a blessed place. You cannot ever say that this is not a blessed place. The African come here and make here his home. The Indians come here and they make here their home. The Chinese make here their home. Portuguese come, Dutch come, French come, Spanish come, everybody come here. You know? But our richness is in our soil. We have different part of this island, it could grow different kind of food and it will grow well. We blessed with not 1 pitch lake, but 2. A lot of people don't know we have a pitch lake in the Moruga forest too. We have 2 pitch lakes. That's a real blessing. We're blessed with oil, we're blessed with gas, we're blessed with a lot of timber and things. And I believe, and I tell you now, I say I go sound like I believe it have gold in the ground in Trinidad. Gold, real gold, because it have gold right across 7 miles away on the mainland. You know, and I feel here I have too, you know what I mean? That's just me. But the real gold and the real value in this country is the people. We are the greatest people in the world. I don't care what nobody says. If I tell you stories about Trinidadians, you wouldn't believe it. No, because they don't teach us about ourselves. If I tell you things about Trinidad, you would not believe me. I will give you one story. It have a virus called rabies. You get from dog bite, wolf bite, and they didn't know that bat used to cause it too. A long time in the movies, everybody used to have rabies and die and things. But it was serious. Rabies was killing real people in the world. And a fella named Lennox Powan, living on an island named Trinidad, realized that it have a bat that has caused it too. And he is the man who isolated the virus so they could have made the drug to stop people from getting rabies. Lennox Powan. And he didn't go away and do it. He did it right here in Trinidad and saved millions of lives.
Give it up, fam.
You understand? I'll tell you one more story. One more story. And this is the most amazing thing about Trinidad. Have you ever heard about the Banawari man? Right. So, in 1980 something, can't remember which year, a man buy a house plot in Banawari Trace down San Francisco, Superior Corporation. And when he go to dig to build a house, it had a mound, so he going to dig that down so he could. And he started in close to the surface, he bunks up an entire human skeleton in a fetal position. The whole skeleton. So call police and take, they check it out. You know that skeleton is over 5,000 years old. It is the earliest evidence of human life in the Western world, here on this island. They have no proof. Older than 5,000 years of people living over on this side of the world than that Banawari man found in Banawari Trace in Trinidad. The Warahun people say there's a Warao, it's Warao, because that is where they used to live down on that side, and you know. So, and they don't talk about that. You know, if we tell that story and make Banawari dolls Every visitor who come here will buy 2 or 3 of them dolls when they leave it. It's like when we go France, we leave with the Eiffel Tower. You know, everybody have an Eiffel Tower. Where, you know, different places they go, you leave with the thing, the thing about them. Banwari is a big deal. This skeleton older than the pyramids in Egypt. This thing, right? It's in you, we know. This is Trinidad is a real. I could tell you 10 more stories right here, right now that you'll be like, oh. Well, you just Google it, Banwari, B-A-N-W-A-R-I.
Something I will
Google it and check it out. Because there's so much about this land that is so great and so beautiful and so amazing. I see somebody in the Google already. Yes, it is near. I love here. I appreciate here. And I owe here because listen, I was where I was and doing the things I used to do. And 3 months later I got a job on TV and people who know me know what I was doing and things. Accept me, give me a chance. I owe, you know, and I owe more. Not just that, you know. To be born here is a real privilege, I find. I can't leave here and go and live nowhere else. It's a real privilege to be here. This is the center. You know, the Indian people believe that the Ganges River in India does come up in our northern range. You know that? Yeah, and not just the Indian people here in Trinidad, you know. Scholars and things believe that the Ganges River does come up in Trinidad. They believe that, and they do all the libation and things by that river up in the North Coast. They have the ceremonies and things with water up there. African people believe a lot about the rivers here in Trinidad too, and just go and do all the libation and all honoring the gods and things there, you know. No, it's an amazing place, boy. It's a real amazing place.
Give it a flower.
If I tell you something, you won't believe me. I don't know your name.
My name?
Yeah.
Iroy.
Iroy? Iroy? Like the Jamaican artist?
Yes.
That's your nickname or that's your real name?
Real name.
Iroy? Yeah!
Well, you were
Iroy! That was small name you're walking with there. That's a big name, boy. Iroy? Yeah.
I kind of had it hard in school, but...
And he's surname, right.
Right.
I didn't kind of had it in school, you know.
Right.
When I started for the class and they said, tell us the name and where you're from.
Right.
The whole class cracking up. But I was the only student in all the schools I ever attended with that name.
Nah, you're the only student in Trinidad. No, with that name.
Visa, this is your time to
Yeah, well,
Overtalk us, sorry.
No. Well, Mr. Errol, Fabien, we TeamViza TV, we just acknowledge people. We don't wait till they reach on the other side to give you your flowers.
Fair enough.
So, on behalf of TeamViza, we appreciate you. That is a word I hear you using a lot.
Yes.
We love you.
Thank you. That's the next word I use a lot.
Yeah. And, you know, the sky is the limit.
Amen.
And the energy that you come on this platform with, you give us real strength and knowledge that everybody will say, yes, they learned something today. And trust me, it touched my heart, and I love you. I like to use that word a lot.
Good.
You know, and
That's important.
nobody mustn't tell you that you can't do this. As I said before, the sky is the limit, and God will take you from strength to strength.
Amen.
And as you say, you're swimming and your arms get tired. Whatever your heart desire, my wish for you is whatever you wish yourself. I hope you get done many more. And may you reap the harvest for yourself and your family and your loved ones. Alright? And as I said in the prayer, Don't wait for an invitation. The door is open.
Only can get them in nothing. Only can go here again.
So all the best to you on your journey.
Thank you.
And with God's speed, you will reach far.
I receive. Thank you.
Listen something. This episode tonight is one of the realest I have experienced. The story that you came here with. I know you had it in you. That's the reason why I opened these doors. No, honestly, because I want the youths and them to hear and to understand, you know. Sometimes life throws certain things at us that might seem to be challenging. But yes, God is. Anything is possible under this sun. Mr. Fabien, season 6, episode 5. Because now I talk till morning.
You know?
You know? But we gotta do this again sometime in 2024.
Yeah. Come on, man, we gotta talk, man.
Right? So
when I moved down.
When I moved down.
When I moved down.
You come and visit the little garden.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And the dogs.
And the dogs. So, Errol Fabien is here with us. TeamViza TV, season 6, episode 5. You can view this whole episode on YouTube, on TeamViza TV. Follow us on Instagram at TeamViza_TV for your latest update. And read.
I would like to ask a question before we close off. I would like to know, as the CEO sometimes just asks, what is the worst advice ever given to you that you could live to always remember?
Worst advice, what? It's 5 words. When people tell me, that's not for you. That's the worst thing you can tell me, that something is not for me. I will experience all that is for me myself. I have to do it, you know. Now, it's not to say that one shouldn't take advice. Like a parent, no, there's a brick wall, you're going to hurt your head. And you still want to go the parent and step. Yeah, go on, you bounce your head, when you fall down, I'll pick you up and we go on. But the worst thing anybody ever tell me is, that is not for you. And, or, the other side to it, when people tell me, boy, you're the greatest. You can't catch me with that like that. You can't catch me with that. And people tell me, boy, you're the funniest man in the Caribbean, or you're the greatest, this or the greatest. You can't catch me with that, I know me. I'm just a man. A recovering drug addict, making my way through life. You can't tie me up with that greatest. And I'm listening to all.
Best advice ever given to you that stick with you today.
Would you believe it was the late Anthony Sabga who spoke the most profound words to me in my whole life. We were at the Republic Bank Entrepreneur of the Year ceremony, and he had sponsored a prize or something. But I had to interview him for Republic Bank. I was doing a show for them. And when the interview finished and the camera turned off, I don't know where that question come from. I asked him, what's the difference between a successful man and a man who's not successful? And he says, not a lot of difference, you know, Errol. It's just the successful man is the man who did not give up when success was right around the corner. Because when we give up on things, we don't know what was right around the corner. He also said to me, but we must know when to throw it away. If something not working, we must know. But if we believe in something and we go in, stick to it. Stick to it. Success is around the corner.
You all hear that? Boom.